Georgia Foster is the world-leading hypnotherapist that specializes in overdrinking, and she is joining us here on, guess what, Big Blend Radio's Authors Happy Hour show, because that's what we do here on Big Blend Radio. We have a hypnotherapist that's going to teach us how not to overdrink. But what's beautiful is she teaches us not to overdrink, but we can cut back and we can still go to happy hour. We can still have our martini lunches, but, we can balance this out. And it's all in her new book. It's called Drink Less in 7 Days. And this is a research-given book. I mean, it's really pretty important. And it's also got recordings and all kinds of good stuff in there. You can go to her website, Georgia-Foster.com. Of course, you can get on Amazon, all those great places as well. Georgia, welcome. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining us. So you're calling in from Melbourne, Australia, right? Wow.
Well, I'm actually in San Diego at the moment, so I am.
Oh,
I am
beautiful!
In your country, but the other. Yes, it is a beautiful day here as well. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow! That's where we actually started our life out, and after living in South Africa, moved to San Diego for quite a few years. So that's really nice that you're in our old stomping grounds. Cool. So very nice. But
and they like drinking here too.
They like drinking in San Diego, especially if you're in Ocean Beach area, Pacific Beach.
And everybody likes drinking everywhere.
At the beginning of the show, I said that, there's something about Australia, South Africa. We lived in South Africa and England, and all I know is Australians and South Africans get along, especially if it's a rugby match or a cricket match going on. There's booze is flowing. It's a lifestyle is drinking.
Yeah, I mean, Australia, like South Africa, are a big wine producing country. So we do love our wine, and I am very much saying, it's great to love your wine, but the difference is we want you to love it rather than drinking it and not really tasting it because you're drinking for other reasons, So it's really about embracing the fun bits. I always say that there are two types of drinking. There's the stress, anxious, negative, fear-based drinking, which is what the book is about, and then there's the fun drinking, it's I'm with my best friend, or I don't know, it's like for some reason when people go to weddings and there's free alcohol, it's like, well, I'm going to get drunk tonight. But I'm talking about the drinking that causes the grief, that makes you feel bad about yourself, but ironically it can tend to make people drink more. So I help them stop that vicious cycle of drinking.
And this is through hypnotherapy. Is it the same thing as hypnosis and being hypnotized? I remember going to some event in San Diego after cocktails, and there was a hypnotist, and I was going to say hypnotherapist, and he goes, "If you've been drinking, don't do this." And of course, I did it, and then I ended up on stage being silly. But I could stop anytime I wanted, even if I had what we call wiggy here on Big Blend Radio. But I did make a good fool of myself. But it was interesting because in South Africa at that time also, hypnotherapy or hypnotism was like you're part of the devil group. Like someone's going to take over your brain. Do you ever hear that side of what you do?
Yeah, I mean, hypnosis is a proven science of the brain now, so which is great. When I first trained to be a hypnotherapist, and I used to teach hypnosis in the universities in the UK, and I'd say to people, just a moment, students, I'm just going to go and get the chicken, and they go, what? Again, we hypnotize a chicken. I mean, I think a lot of people believe it to be true. I mean, it's a natural brainwave experience that we all need to go into before sleep. You can't go to sleep without it. It's meditation, but with a little bit of a difference. Where I'm doing all the talking, and there isn't this kind of grand expectation of going into a nothingness state. But what we know is that the stage hypnotist people, there are particular tools they'll use to find out who's more susceptible to being on stage. But, we're all susceptible to hypnosis, but some people will go into a lighter state, some people a deeper state, but it doesn't make any difference to the results. Although I might add, I don't do stage hypnotism. I'm a clinically, medically based hypnotherapist. So, I work very much on the emotional conditioning of the brain, and what we call neuroplasticity, which is, where the brain can change. And, the theory was, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but in actual fact, that's completely unfounded now. And that's what I love about what I do, is because the people who are in a bad space with their drinking, they might be told if they've got alcohol police in their house, as I call it, people who are critical and judgmental of them, or people, society, for example, go on these websites that say, oh, if you think about drinking before 9 o'clock in the morning, then you need to go to AA. I'm saying, no, you don't have a drinking problem. You've got a thinking problem. It's the thinking that's causing you, because the brain works on habit. And if you use alcohol for emotional, medicinal purposes, such as insomnia or social anxiety or sexual anxiety, whatever it is, then the brain goes to default often and uses that as right, this is what we do, we go and drink. So, I'm very much a supporter of drinking, but just drinking in a different way.
Well, we have happy hour shows, and we like our wine, and we have our Dr. Jackie Ubani. She's our women's heart health expert, and she comes on every month, and she talks about women, and we always giggle with her and say, okay, we know it's the 5 ounces of wine. We can't have more than that a night because of our heart. And she goes, if you're naughty, then the next day just don't drink for a few days. But I always tease her about it, because from what I've seen and reading in your book and everything, it seems that women are drinking more now. I mean, I don't know if we were closet drunks or having laudanum back in our day, but there seems to be an epidemic of drinking and then women doing Oxycontin and things. And I'm wondering if they're at home dealing with stress. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like women are ingesting too much stuff that we shouldn't be doing.
Well, there is a little bit of good news there. I'm not pro people drinking too much, as you know from the book. But, I always say to people that how the government and the medical profession got together to decide what people should drink in terms of their quantity, they came to a conclusion that if they gave them a rule book of like 14 ounces for women, which is 2 bottles of wine a week, which is not a lot of alcohol, and 21 for men. So they thought that people would just say that's okay, like calorie counting and salt gram measurements on the side of cereal packets and things. But what they didn't realize is the human psyche, and the human psyche says, well, if you're going to tell me that if I drink more than 14 units a week, then I'm just going to reduce, but I'm not going to. People are very rebellious by nature, and I think that it completely backfired. But really, what's underpinning that measurement of what we should or shouldn't be drink is that it was they got together and said, look, we know that when somebody goes to the doctor and the doctor says to them how many glasses of wine or whatever you drink a week, that people lie by about 3 times. Now, this is absolute truth. You can Google this. So what they decided was that they would reduce that by 3 and a little bit more. So, you can, if you're eating and you're hydrating yourself with water and you're drinking, in line with what your liver can actually manage, over a long period of time, you can drink in a nice, steady way without getting drunk and then saying, I've had enough. But it's the quick drinking that's the problem, because people get drunk. And I'm saying is once you train your brain to slow down with your drinking and hydrate yourself and eat with it, you're drinking from a very kind of stylish European way. You know what I mean? And that's really what I'm talking about. And also that people are not using the beer or the gin and tonic or the tequila to calm their nerves. That before they get there, and you're mentioning about the chemicals in the brain, is, alcohol induces dopamine, and that's what people are actually getting addicted to. So what I do is with my hypnosis recordings, which you download from the book, is training the brain to naturally produce the good chemicals so that you don't need to go to alcohol to get that experience. And that's really key in the book.
So I'm going to say I went to a hypnotist because it was really fun. His name was Gil Boyne, and he had a class, and Sylvester Stallone was in my class. So
this
I went
is in
there.
the 70s, everyone.
Yes, and I went there often. And it was really cool because he had us all like lie on sleeping bags on the floor, and I'm like right next to Sylvester Stallone. I'm like, dude, and Sylvester Stallone was there because he said his brain moved quicker than he could speak, and so the doctor Dr. Boyne went around the room and is asking, "Why are you here? What are you trying to, what do you want? What do you expect to happen?" And his first lecture was really interesting about the idea of taking control of your brain and accessing parts of your brain that you've been told, oh, we only use 2% of our brain, or whatever they were saying at that time, and that we as humans don't access all of our abilities ever. We access percentages of our abilities, and the brain is it's an amazing organ, and it does way more than what we use it for. And his thing about self-hypnosis is, getting you past the idea of you're doing something weird, that you can hypnotize yourself, and it is very much like meditation with direction. Like meditation,
yes,
to me, it's like, you relax, but hypnotism is, okay, now self-hypnotism is you're going to relax so that you can receive a message that you have directed your brain, so you get to control your brain. And that is something that most people will look at you and think you're crazy if you say that, but I found it to be, you could use it for anything.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything.
So like I mentioned, the Oxycontin, couldn't your book and your teachings and the recordings help with all of those kinds of problems, not just drinking?
Yeah, I mean, my online programs, I have emotional eating, anxiety reduction, self-esteem. These are all, drinking is just one way for us to feel better. And I know most people, emotionally. I mean, I used to be a very heavy drinker and, a real foodie because I had low self-esteem and high levels of anxiety. So, I created these programs because I get it. And I just think it's so important for us to, we demonize the drink because I do know there, as everybody knows, that it can have some serious consequences. But there's a big group of people, like millions and millions of people all over America, who actually are the middle ground of drinkers. They don't belong in AA. They don't want to abstain, and they don't have a lot of emotional trauma that's gone on. They're just highly stressed people. And they've just trained their brain that booze is the answer, and we need to honor that. We want to come back to, once again, really enjoy the lovely wine. I mean, I'm a wine drinker, and I just think that I don't want to not drink. I want to, be able to enjoy it and have the odd hangover. That's fine. If I win the lottery tonight, I might have a few more champagnes. But my general attitude about alcohol is I don't use it for a stress management purpose. And when you don't do that, is it just liberates you so much, and I'm trained in a great psychology, and the psychology is that it's the inner critic, it's that negative voice within that says, oh, you were terrible at that meeting today, and what are the mothers going to think of you at the school gate today, and you've got weight, and you've got a hangover, and the irony is that the inner critic, if we believe it, it will, any great plans to have an alcohol-free day or to cut back on the booze won't happen, because when we drink alcohol, that inner critic goes away, and we love it. And, many people don't understand that. And then in the morning, drinkers wake with a bit of a hangover and thinking, oh my God, why did I send that message last night? Who did I email? Retracing their steps. And the inner critic is going, oh my God, what did you do last night? And it just makes this whole anxiety drinking cycle continue on. And I really say it's about breaking that negative state, and you can do it really, really beautifully well with hypnosis.
I love that. I love that, and I love it because we can take control. I think it's great what you're doing, because it just reminds us that we can take control. The reason you're drinking could go from the self-esteem level, you talk about that inner critic that we have, and then we can snap that around and not feel bad the next day. And so you're going to feel better no matter what. You can have a glass of wine and really feel great. So that's a good thing.
Alcohol is supposed to be a celebration, not. And so if you have a drink or two at the end of every day, you're celebrating, hey, I'm still here.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Exactly. It's that's how it should be. We're happy. Go ahead.
Absolutely. No, I was going to say there's an interesting movie in Australia. It's called What the Sugar, and this guy, a journalist, he didn't really eat a lot of sugar, but he went on to a typical sugar diet with cereal with sugar, yogurt with sugar, cups of coffee, cups of things of sugar in the tea or coffee, and then he'd have a ready meal or some processed food. And over the month, he gained weight, obviously, because he was eating high sugar, but he was diagnosed with a fatty liver, and he didn't have one drop of alcohol. And I think that we often blame alcohol for liver issues, and a lot of people panic and everything. But, I'm very much about stopping the scaremongering about alcohol, because, we live in a society where people drink. Not everybody, of course, but a lot of people do. And I worry. I really care. I really care about people who feel that there's something wrong with them because they drink too much. And I'm saying there's nothing wrong with you. You're a fully functioning person. It's just you've got yourself into a tricky drinking situation that it's very difficult consciously to get out of it, and that's why the self-esteem goes down, and that's why the alcohol can increase, because people start to really believe they've got a drinking problem because of the inner critic, and then it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I'm saying, let's stop that. Let's get you into a good space so you can really get trust in your ability to drink in a different way.
Right on. Well, on that note, it's time for our happy hour question of the day.
Yay!
Okay, so if you could spend happy hour with anyone in the world, alive or passed on or fictional, who would it be? Where would it be? What are you drinking? And what is the gossip? What are you talking about?
Well, I have to say one of my biggest fans is Oprah Winfrey. I just think she's absolutely fantastic because she stands for so many things that I think needed to be said. But I want her to be in Melbourne, Australia, where I live, on my local beach, because they have a fantastic little yacht club down there, and watch the sunset. And then really what I would love to pick her brains about is what she really thinks about many things in life, and what she would change if she was president of the United States. Because I just think with
you go, girl. That's funny.
Yeah, I just think, I really, really would love to see what she feels what she could do.
Right on.
Well, I know what she wouldn't do.
No, wait, did I miss the cocktail here? What are you drinking? I got to make sure. Did I miss that? Because I can't. Because I heard Oprah and President, and then my brain went, okay, this is a whole new. Let's go. But anyway.
Well, do you know what? When we were thinking about the interview, and the question was about, obviously what would I like to drink with Oprah, and I was going to say my favorite Chardonnay, but you know what? Last night I had the most delicious, spicy margarita here in San Diego. Oh my God, it was just amazing.
Awesome.
I've never had one before.
She loves tequila. She loves tequila.
Oh,
I know that. Oprah loves tequila, and I think it was her 50th birthday. She went around, had everybody stay in this one place and started knocking everyone's doors to get up and have more tequila. So, power to her. And power to you with what you're doing, and because you're a revolutionary in the world of this, So I say power to you and what you're doing. And everybody, again, the book is Drink Less in 7 Days by Georgia Foster on Amazon, all those great places. I encourage you to go to Georgia's website, though. It's Georgia-Foster.com. And I know you can work with people all over the world, right? Because we have all these digital things now. We can do that. It's cool. So, and again, the book is there. So go to Georgia-Foster.com. And your song, we love to dedicate songs to our guests. Your song is called Breakthrough, because we thought that's a good fitting theme.
Perfect.
And it's a song from our friend Dino Jag, who's based in Adelaide, Australia, and he's been on our shows over the years. And this is his latest EP. It's a title track called Breakthrough. And he recorded that just up the road from you in Hollywood. So there it is. So here it is, a Breakthrough from Dino Jag. Everyone keep up with Dino at dinojag.com. Thanks so much for joining us, Georgia, and enjoy your time in San Diego.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Enjoy your drinking.
Take it. All right.
Bye-bye.
We'll get some wine right now. Okay.
We're pretty good
at it.
I know. Here it is, Breakthrough. Take care.
Have I told you I'm spinning, and it's 'cause of you? but it feels like magic. And you're shaking my walls, they're crumbling down, and all the pieces are falling for you. No one else, 'cause you're my breakthrough. No one else, you're my rescue. Wake up with me and stay for the rest of your life. I'll give you my best, whatever you need. I just wanna be with you. No one else, 'cause you're my breakthrough. No one else, there's nobody else like you. I never thought it could feel so true. I couldn't find the words, couldn't write a song that I could sing and play for you. So I got myself a tattoo. You should have told me, you should have warned me, I'll never be the same. I'd have to hold on tight for the rest of my days. So let me hold you. Let me hold you. And have I told you I'm crazy? Well, it's true. I'm crazy about you. And I'm feeling so tall. My head's above the clouds. I'm on a rainbow ride, doing color slides. Never been so high, all because of you. Yeah, you. I wanna be with nobody else. Nobody. 'Cause there's nobody else. No one else. 'Cause you're my breakthrough. No one else. You're my rescue. There's nobody else like